So, many of you probably know sufficient information about me, and I don't like to kind of continue to talk about myself, but I have to look at my notes to tell you about myself. No, I'm teasing. Anyway, to more condense it, because sometimes it takes a little bit longer, you've heard my background mentioned. I mean, I was born in Illinois and in Chicagoland, and my parents are from Chicagoland, and I had my education in, Chicagoland area, and I've lived kind of in southwest suburbs. My father is deceased, but he was a precinct captain, and my uncle was an alderman. He's deceased, so there were always kind of a little bit of political interest, and I really love the ground that I walk on in these United States. Last week, I'll get back to some of that. When I say I love the ground that I walk on in these United States, I had the opportunity last week to give a lecture presentation in Serbia. I'm an addiction medicine specialist, so they were very interested in the topic. So I was over there and I saw, kind of a poor country, and then I was around Europe a little bit and in Italy, and I see what socialized medicine is, the real effects of it. And I can tell you for sure it's nothing that we want here. But I'll talk about that a little bit more. So anyway, on background, you know that, be perfectly honest, God's my CEO. I'm going to start with that. That's who I work for. And but I do that in the career of medicine. I'm a physician, as you know, and I happen to be a licensed attorney also. That's just more frosting on the cake, because I think I can understand a lot of the legal things that go on in government with that. And I had the privilege and opportunity to be in the Army, so I was a major, honorable discharge about a year ago. And I have my own small S corporation, so I appreciate small business. And I have a master's in bioethics and health policy. And I teach that at Benedictine University over the past number of years. I continue to do that, and I really enjoy that interaction. And I've had the opportunity to teach also at DePaul University, other courses, medical malpractice and health law and things like that. I don't know what else I'm missing out. Well, the press seems to like that I'm an ex-nun. So I was a Benedictine nun for about 5 years. It was right before I took final vows. But I hope that all that put together, is this sounding okay? Okay. Put together gives you a sincere image of, it seems my desire since I was about 7 years of age, knowing I wanted to be a nun, is just to be of service. We stand on the shoulders of those who have gone before us, and I feel like I've had many blessings and opportunities, and so I always like the opportunity to mentor and serve in different capacities, whether that's military or just the privilege of seeing patients every day. And now that I see the sad state of affairs as things have come along, like Adam, I've seen the very good years in Illinois and can now barely believe the shameful shape that we're in. And it looks like what we do need are honest, hardworking, sincere people to come back to the center to bring things to where they belong, where they used to be and where they can be. So I'm sorry, I don't want it to feel like it's all about me, because it's really all about you, the people who are willing to come here this evening. I was going to share a little story with you that I experienced last week. It's an odd, true story. And I don't want to prejudice anyone, but I was, being in Europe, I was in Italy, and maybe you've heard that Italians tend to speak with their hands. I don't think I necessarily have that quality that much, but Italian people really use their hands to get their point across. So I was a little lost one day on the street and wanted directions to somewhere. And so there was a local there. You could tell this lady had lived there, and she was carrying 2 shopping bags, and I thought she might be a good person to ask, how do I get to this destination where I want to go? And so I went up to her and I started to ask directions, and she had her 2 shopping bags, and she handed them to me. So I took the 2 shopping bags because I thought that she was going to give me directions, like point, you go left here, you go right there. So I took the shopping bags, and the answer I got from her was, I don't know. True story. So I thought, I had to hold your bags to tell me that you don't know. Anyway, I thanked her and went on. But so that's just an example of, that I just wanted to share with you from last week. Each time that we meet, or I've had opportunities to be at the Tea Party get-togethers and other occasions, there's many crucial issues and problems. It's like disease, the dis-ease of our situation in Illinois. And so at various places I've dealt with topics. I don't want you to leave tonight thinking that I'm focusing on 3 topics, but I pick a few topics at each place. But what I've talked about before, the number one problem and things that I hear when we knock door to door are jobs, jobs, jobs. I mean, Illinois, we need to retrieve the jobs we've lost. We need to create new jobs. I think that's all dovetailed and interfaced with, as Adam said also, small business. It's the backbone of everything. And they're overregulated, too many policies, there's so much to be said there. So previously I've spoken about jobs. That's a very top issue, of course. Previously I've talked about education, so I wouldn't be saying much tonight. I pick a few topics each time I have the opportunity. So, I would say on education, I'm certainly for educational vouchers, and I think parents deserve the choice to choose where their child should get, the best education. Previously also we've talked about, the pension system and how it's deteriorating and destroying our foundation and our wallets. So each place I've, talked about different things. Tonight I basically was kind of focusing on three different areas. And number one, I think, which is also coincidental because Adam is here, is this transparency issue in what's good for Illinois. You could never run your household the way, Springfield is being run. It's like if you had a charge card and you run it to the max, you open another charge card to be able to pay off that charge card. It's just ridiculous what's happening, with the finances, and we don't know what's going on. It's like the average citizen, you don't have enough information to connect the dots. You don't know where the money's coming from, where it's being spent, who's getting it. But an interesting editorial just last week, which I've read a number of times to understand. It's almost like it's a scam. It's a new finding that Illinois politicians have squandered about $551 million due to misappropriation and overspending, over-borrowing, so that, if you can get the math straight on this article, Illinois, in terms of, the bond issue, where, Illinois issued $9.6 billion in bonds. It's, more debt. We're borrowing and paying a higher interest on that borrowing. So on just this 1 year's borrowing, Illinois has had to pay $551 million more in interest over the life of bonds than if this state merited a decent credit rating. Our credit rating, which now, is 50. It's on the bottom with the malignant California.